welcome to a new video. In case you didn't saw it, Global just teased the next units for the next month, so September of 2022. And I want to go with you over the units and talk about which units are good, which banners are maybe a must pull or not, and just what this potentially means for the future of Global. So let's get started. Before we go about any overall thing, I just go through the units from top to bottom. So we start with a new Cielo, and if we scroll down to a 3-star units, because this is actually the first welfare of the bunch, it's... where is she? It's this Cielo, I think. Let's double check. Looks pretty close. And this is actually a strong welfare, like the strongest win Cielo we currently have, even in JP. Simply because she has a strong single target skill and a second skill which heals damage and heals over time. So, in that regard, just stronger than normal Cielo. Really good with her ulti too, by the way, as a combination. So, a lot of wind damage and like one of the strongest wind mages we actually have. So, if you missed out on Ice, this might be your best chance for a really strong wind team with, for example, Singer, Kazuma, and Rin. So, boosting, big damage, brrr, let's go. A really strong Cielo, so get her while you can, you won't regret it. The next welfare is a new Union. So if we scroll up a little bit more, there she is. Double check, that's the right one, looks pretty close. It's an Earth Union. That's right, Earth Union. Sadly not the strongest unit. Her big damage skill is an AoE skill, so she's good for wave clearing. And she has a defense down, a magic defense down. So she's potentially stronger than a 2-star unit, but at the same time with units out there like Chris, with Mitsurugi, with Onsen Symbolusa, which we talk about in a second as well and stuff. There are just better options out there. She's still a good unit if you want to go mages in Earth team. That's a possibility, then you can use her, but it's not like groundbreaking unit or something like that. The next one is actually a pullable 3-star, and that's Onsen Arrow. Right there. Also an Earth unit. With 2 single target skills. One has a chance to bind the enemy with a 197 damage skill, which is pretty good, but she has really long cooldowns. Keep that in mind, all Arrows have really long cooldowns. And the second skill is a skill that depends on debuffs on the enemies, or status inflictions, is it, I think? Yeah, status infliction, so if you land to bind, the boss is weak to bind, she can be a good unit, but at the same time, there are better Earth units out there, as I talked before. Yeah, then we come to the first 4-star we talk about, and that is the long-awaited Onsen Symbolusa. So, you might have heard about this unit before, simply because it's the next big Rashford unit we get. We just got Singer Kazuma, and you already see his potential in the arena with every top team pretty much having Kazuma on there for the Rashford, because it's such a broken skill. She also has a tier 2 Rashford that also scales with levels, if I remember correctly. So her Rashford has potential to be even stronger, but she's still best for Earth, and Kazuma is still stronger for off elements simply because he can feint probably better. But yeah, strong Rashford skill, strong single target skill that depends on debuffs on the enemy, which Rashford is of course, for example. So she can buff a single target skill as well, which is a 241% single target skill. If that thing crits with Rashford on it, adds big juicy damage. Also, you need to admit it, that art is just beautiful. Look at those big round eyes. How can you not like this unit? Come on. Big thing to note here, she's a strong unit, but she's a permanent unit. She's not limited, she's a permanent unit, so you can get her with 4-star tickets or even 3-star tickets if you get lucky. You can get her in future banners as well as an off-rate unit, so keep that in mind. We talk about which banners I suggest you to pull in so later. The next one is actually another welfare unit, and it's a 3-star, and the first 3-star in a long time, it's Megumin. Yep, that's her, 100%. They even edited out Kazuma, that's why it looks so weird. Yeah. Conditional single target skill. I think it was a tier 2 magic attack up stealth. So, you can use it for wave clear, but at the same time we have, we already have a 3-star water Megumin up here. Where is she? Where is she? This one. So most of the time she can be a good sub if you need the extra water damage, but besides that, not really a good unit. So let's just move on to the next one. The next welfare unit. By the way, I go about which unit goes to which banner later as well. But I first want to go through the units. The next one is a welfare Chris. So we go down here a little bit to Chris. It's this one. It's a fire Chris. Just to double check, that's the unit. She has a tier 1 speed boost and a low damage skill, and I think a tier 2. Don't count me on these debuffs. I don't know the 3-star units that good, especially if they're not used much. So yeah, she can be a decent fire unit, I guess, but there will be other fire units, physical fire units in the future that you want to use over her. So there's that. Also, there's like we already have a fire 4-star Chris, in case you don't remember. It's a maid Chris, and she's just as bad as her. So nothing to see here. It's a welfare unit. Grab her if you can, but not like a big one. The next one is actually a big one, and it's Kempo Mia. Why is she a big one? Is it because of her skills? Nah, it's a single target skill, not much. It's an earth resistant, which can be useful sometimes, but we have, for example, Damachi Darkness for that. It's a better 4-star, so why is she good? If we take a look here, it's another Godshop sub-unit. That's right, another Godshop sub-unit that you can use for your other units. With Mitsurugi and Leah, that's our 3rd 3-star Godshop unit, and if we count Fast Aqua as well, that's our 4th Godshop unit. So we literally can do 2 units with full Godshop supports now, which is kind of cool. There's actually currently a JP strat right now where we use full God teams to spam ults. It's so ridiculous, it's so cool to see. If you want to check it out, I have a YouTube video on it as well. And remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy this video, if it helps you. So yeah. That's cool. Now the next unit is a Wiz unit for all you Wisdoms out there. I know there are a lot of Wisdoms out there, so rejoice, a new Wiz unit is here. Sadly not a good one. She has a debuff skill to lower the enemy's magical attack. She has a debuff depending skill, so she can do some damage, but the skills on itself are not that good. The only good thing about her is that she boosts wind and earth damage. So if you want to run ulti 2 Wiz, for example, she might be a good sub. There will also be a new U-Wiz later down the line, which is a really, really strong Wiz that is also wind. So she's a really good sub for that Wiz, but that's simply much her only reason to use her. Sadly, but she still has a beautiful pick, so if you're Wisdom, go for her if you want. The next 3-star is another Amy. And it's, where is she? It's Ninja Amy. I'm not 100% sure, but I think she was a pullable 3-star unit together with Ninja Chris, also a unit we talk about later. Just double check, yep, it's her. Also Chris edited it out, it's so weird to see that, but it makes sense, I guess. It's a water unit, so don't even ask me about her usage. We already have 2 out of the 3 water units out there. As you just saw, she comes with Chris, so if you pull Chris, you don't need any other units besides Erika and Aqua. So, she exists, that's it. Also weird sub-passive with boosting water and earth damage. You don't use her. You don't use her. You don't need to pull her. But what unit you might want to pull, which is really, really good. It's the other unit we all talked about before, which I already talked about in my previous video. It's Ninja Chris. Why is she so good? Same reason as Onsen Symbolusa. She has a Reshred skill, which is always really good. The one thing, the water trio with the water duo with Erika, speed boost and attack boost, Aqua heal, guard up, cooldown reduction, and defense plus healing needs is this Chris. Why? First off, the single target skill is really good. I mean, it's only 164 damage multiplier with the HP bonus, but the HP bonus is pretty much guaranteed with an Aqua. And a tier 3 self buff, so she can buff herself really strong. And Reshred. What do I need to say? And the cool thing there is with both Chris and Erika being able to boost magic attack up, you can do two things. Either you can use Chris ulti 1 to slow the enemy down, and Erika ulti 1 to buff your team's physical attack. That's a possibility. The other possibility is use Chris ulti 2, which will be a little bit less damage, but would also buff your team, and then you can run Erika ulti 2, which blinds the enemy, which is actually a strat for, I think it was 2 arenas so far, where the enemy frog did some kind of physical attack down debuff, and with the bind there was a chance that the boss misses you, which was the big difference between a good and a bad run, so that's also a strategy you should probably keep in your mind. 3 more units, guys, before we go over the banners. Now we come to big 3, because these are actually all in one banner. Or I should say big 2, because the first unit we look at is whatever. It's another Amy, it's Ainu Amy. She's good for dungeons, because she has a wind defense up thing, which can be valuable for dungeons, especially the first stage and permanent dungeons and stuff like that. So she's good for there. She also has 2 damage skills, which is really good. But then again, you would need to run her with mages, and there would be a Wisp, which you can't heal, so the heal is whatever. The only good thing is the debuff, but she does some decent damage, I guess, so if you get her, she's good for dungeon, keep that in mind, but not really for normal play. Also fire damage, so not like even a good assist. But the other 2 units are really, really good. The first one is Inumia. The crazy thing about Inumia is the 2 skills. First, it's 2 single target skills, which is always good for high damage runs. The first one is a conditional skill with 173 damage multiplier if you're above 70% HP, and it's a tier 2 AoE speed boost. That's right, another tier 2 AoE speed boost for fire, which is really, really good. Helps your Megumi to explode faster, helps your auto units to do a lot of damage. And the second skill might actually be key for the next arena. It blocks 1 debuff. So my prediction, and if I remember it correctly from JP already, is that the boss will cast some kind of physical or magical attack down debuff or even a speed debuff. And with this debuff block you can actually avoid this attack at all and just continue to run normally. So she's really good for that skill alone. That combined with the tier 2 speed up skill is really good and makes her a really strong unit. Also attack up, passive. So in general just a good unit. And the good thing is she's combined with our next fast unit. And the next fast unit we will get is Dragon Slayer Fast Kazuma. Just to double check, yep, it's the same picture. What does he do? He's a really strong electro unit for physical. First things first, elemental basic with bonus damage if the enemy has some kind of debuff, for example Reshred or defense down. His basics will do more damage. His first skill also has the debuff bonus damage up to 242% damage, which is really good. And a self tier 2 speed up. And the next skill is HP condition skill, weirdly, but whatever. and a tier 2 defense down, I think. I'm not sure if it's tier 3, but I think it was tier 2 defense down. So he's a really selfish unit. He can buff his stab speed, he can do good damage, but you still want him combined with any other good supporting electro unit. And the whole thing with Kazuma is he's a really strong physical electro unit, but first we already have School Union, which is a really strong magical electro unit. So if there's like no difference between physical and magical, there's a world where Union is just better. And he will get replaced in the future by the collab that's after the next collab. So the next collab should probably be Overlord. The collab after that is the spoiler Railgun. And Railgun has a Misaka, another really strong physical electro unit. So keep in mind, Kazuma will be replaced in worst case 6 months after he drops, something like that. And in some of the arenas you can even run Union, or you should even run Union. So he's not that big of a must pull as you think, but he's still a really strong unit. Okay, now that we talked about every unit, how do they stack together? What unit comes with what? I must say I'm not 100% sure on which order the welfares are, but if I have it correctly in my head, the first banner will be Onsen Symbolusa, Onsen Arrow, and Union as the welfare. The next one will be Kempo Wiz plus Mia with, I think it was Cielo as the welfare. Then we have, the next one should be the Fast Kazuma banner with Forster, Mia and Amy, and the Chris as the welfare. And the last banner of the month should be the Ninja banner, so Chris, Amy, and I think it was welfare Megumi there as the last one. I think that's the order. Maybe one of the welfares are switched around, I'm not 100% sure, over a year ago, sorry. But I think that's it. So, which banner should you pull on? And now we come to a little bit of a problem. We got a fast banner really fast after current Ani, so if you're like me and had bad luck on the Ani banner, you're probably pretty low in quads. And we know for a fact that we will get a lot of other strong units in the future. I actually made another video about that one with what units to expect in this year, which is actually not 100% correct anymore after this, but still worth a watch, so check it out. But the thing is, after this month, we have October. And October means Halloween with 2 banners, which are team buff units. So you already know we have a team buff where you can select physical or magical attacker. Other units will have a team passive, so if they are on the main team, as a not a front unit, but like as a main unit, you can select a team passive buff. I can actually show you that. There was the wrong button. For example, if we go here on my teams, you see that Kazuma has a fire team passive buff as his normal passive slot. You can see it here. And then you can select it here, and this one does 6% more fire damage for every unit in your team. So units like that will come rather soon in Global, and in itself are a damage increase for your team, but these are not like must-haves. These are not must-haves. But a must-have will be the Overlord banner. My prediction is still Overlord at the end of October, beginning of November, maybe even mid-November. I'm not 100% sure how they handle it, but we will probably get Overlord banner rather soon. So if you're low on quads, I suggest you to save for Overlord. Why? We will get a really strong dark unit in Einzelgun. We will get a really strong light unit with Sheltier for physical, which pairs really well, by the way, with Fast Darkness and Aqua and some other Rash Red unit, for example. So she will actually probably see more use Sheltier in Global than she did in JP, because she was rather fast replaced by second Ani units. But that will be one banner you should probably save. And the speculation started. Why? Because we got our first fast banner after Ani only 3 weeks after anniversary. What could this mean? They dropped Kazuma so early because they released him with Mia and Amy. The same as it happened in JP. You know what happened in JP as well? On Xmas we got a Megumin, a Union, and Fast Chris. One of the strongest units in the game we currently have. So people are predicting that we actually get Fast Chris as well in Global towards Xmas. So that would also mean we would get 1.5 Ani early as well, which includes a Megumin and a Whis. The only good unit there is Megumin, and even then she's not like a must-have unit, but she's a good one. Whis was like used for one arena where it was hard physical block and you wanted to run mages. If you want to run water mages, she's good, but beside that, she's bad. It's just a good team passive, not team passive, but like a sub passive for units. So it's a possible out there that we get Overlord at November, and only 1 month later we get Fast Chris. And Fast Chris is a must-have unit. But as I said, these are predictions. We don't know yet for sure. We only know about next month. But still, next month should also, next month with October, should also have Meru. I can show you as well. There she is, Meru. She's really good because another Rashford unit with a strong single target skill. And Electro ulti, so she's really good in general. Because the thing about her ulti is, her ulti 1 version 2 does good damage as Electro unit and can be boosted by her own Rashford. It gives a tier 2 speed to your whole team and a tier 3 physical attacker for herself. So even with mages in the team, she can buff herself and be a really strong unit. And especially with other physical units like Kazuma, she works really well because of defense stun and stuff like that. So she's also a permanent unit we probably get the month after, which is really, really strong. Why do I think we get her there? Funny thing, there is a Welfare Meru, a Freezer one, that's Halloween based. Whoop, that was the wrong one. This is the Halloween one. And she also, by the way, has a Team Water passive. So if you don't pull for Halloween Comico, which is also a water passive, you can still use her. It's 3% less damage, I think, but it exists. It's for free. But because there will be a Welfare Meru for Halloween, we guarantee to get Meru before that. Same thing, by the way, with Vanir. There's the Xmas Vanir. So we will get Vanir before the second Xmas banner, which means we will get Vanir before the first Xmas banner, which will mean we get Vanir probably end of November, beginning of December, somewhere like that. That's my prediction. And also Vanir, really strong OG unit, non-limited. So yeah, press F for every free-to-play player, I guess. But if you want to stay free-to-play, the best tip I can give you is save for Overlord. Overlord will probably be the strongest characters out there. And if you want, you can throw 1-2 multis and 4-star tickets towards Melissa, Chris, and probably Meruden. And after Overlord, save for Fast Chris. In case she comes then, better safe than sorry, save for Fast Chris. It will be worth it. And as sadly as it sounds, probably sack both 1.25 Ani, so Fast Kazuma and Fast Megumin and Fast Whis. If you just want to go for power level wise, this is probably your best bet, simply because Rashford units are so good. The Overlord units are so good, and Fast Crits is simply just so good. So, yeah. These are my recommendations for, hopefully this time really 2022, at least they change something up again, then either my other video is the correct one, or whatever, but things speed up a lot in Global, which has some good sides and some bad sides, don't get me wrong. I'm not liking the current strategy, and a lot of people out there are actually pretty upset by that as well. But if you're still enjoying this game and want to play first, let Nexon know that you dislike their current choice. Maybe they can fix stuff. I actually forward every feedback I saw to Nexon to maybe get them to do something, but we don't know yet. But if you're frustrated, let them know, otherwise they can't fix it. And yeah, that's the best hint I can give you besides wallet time. So yeah, if you can spend and want to, feel free to do so. If you don't want to spend like me and stay free to play in global, that's the best hint I can give you. So if this helps, yeah, please remember, leave a like. Maybe write a comment about what unit you're most excited about, because that's really interesting for me. And yeah, good luck with your future polls. If you have any questions, join my Twitch to ask questions there, or just down in the comment, or my Discord. I have Discord as well. So you have plenty of options to contact me and ask me stuff, and I'm gladly there to help. And until then, see you next time. Bye bye.